My younger brother, Ethan, has always held a deep grudge against me. If you assume it was jealousy, you'd be mistaken. Ethan was the cherished child, not me, so envy wasn't the cause. For context, our mother constantly doted on Ethan. He was the family's golden boy. She prepared his meals, washed his clothes, and even expected me to assist with his homework. I was supposed to help him simply because we were brothers, yet I never received the same care. I didn't mind too much being naturally self-reliant. Perhaps I enabled this dynamic by always accommodating him without expecting reciprocity. Ethan never supported me when I needed help and only approached me when he wanted something. I was a reserved, studious kid who preferred solitude, while Ethan was boisterous and aggressive, much like our father. My blunt honesty might have caused our mother to view me negatively. This favoritism made Ethan the family's darling, and I was fine with it growing up. But trouble started when he began tormenting me for being different. He mocked my appearance, my height, my glasses, and even invaded my privacy by sneaking into my room to read my journal, then tattling to our mom about its contents. When I confronted him or complained to our parents, they brushed it off as harmless sibling antics. Ethan's behavior escalated. He nearly broke my glasses and tampered with my food, once slipping small pebbles into my cereal. Thankfully, I noticed before eating. When I told our mom, she dismissed it, claiming it was just how brothers bonded. During arguments, Ethan targeted my vulnerabilities with cruel insults. We attended the same school, where I was already being bullied. Instead of defending me, he joined the bullies, hurling names like pathetic geek or awkward freak and egging them on to physically harass me. Once, in a heated argument over something trivial, he told me to end my life. That cut deeply, especially since I was grappling with mental health struggles at the time. I've since recovered, but hearing my own brother wish me dead was crushing. With our dad often away for work and our mom seemingly indifferent, she even blamed me for provoking Ethan, things worsened. In high school, Ethan tried to set my hair on fire, and shockingly, our mother excused it as playful behavior. Thankfully, our dad finally intervened, warning Ethan he'd face legal consequences if he continued. This stunned Ethan, who'd never faced accountability before. Dad made it clear that Ethan needed to respect me. Later, Dad privately admitted he'd hoped Ethan would outgrow his behavior, but now saw him as a bully. Hearing this validation nearly brought me to tears. I confided in him about Ethan's years of torment and the school bullying. Shocked, Dad spoke to the school principal to address the bullies and enrolled me in MMA classes, urging me to stand up for myself. Though I was a nerdy kid, I embraced the training, balancing it with my studies. It transformed my confidence and physique. One day, Ethan stole my chore money, which I'd been saving. I caught him as he tried to ride off with his friends. When he mocked me, saying I'd just run to Dad, I snapped and punched him. He fell, stunned, and I reclaimed my money. Ethan cried dramatically, and our mother rushed to his side, scolding me for not being a better example. But when Dad heard both sides, he told Ethan he was lucky I didn't press charges for theft. Ethan threw a tantrum, expecting Mom to defend him, but Dad stood firm. Furious, Ethan declared he hated me and locked himself in his room. After that, Ethan kept his distance, realizing he could no longer intimidate me. Though he stopped physical attacks, he resorted to sly verbal jabs when our parents weren't around. His temper grew worse with age, and he'd ignore me or mutter insults like dork or failure. If he needed to communicate, he'd go through our mom instead. When I asked her why he couldn't talk to me directly, she told me to be more patient. I couldn't tell if it was puberty or genuine malice. I repeatedly asked Mom to mediate a conversation to resolve our issues, but she refused, avoiding the topic. Desperate to escape, I left for my dream university on a scholarship. Dad threw a celebration for my achievement, and even Mom seemed proud, but Ethan remained distant, barely acknowledging me. Leaving home was a relief, and university was freeing. I made friends, enjoyed my studies, and left behind the toxic environment of my childhood. In my second year, I met my wife, Sarah, at a party. We connected instantly. Coming from a conservative background, we married after graduation when she became pregnant. Our wedding was small but joyful, and I believed Sarah was my soulmate. I valued monogamy and never pursued other women, content with our life together, but I later discovered 2 instances of Sarah's infidelity, a years-long affair with a married colleague and a brief fling with an ex during a family visit. Some might call me naive, and I can't fully disagree. We separated briefly each time, but I forgave her, wanting to keep our family intact for our child. After the second betrayal, I worked hard to rebuild trust, and for 4 years things seemed better. We were planning our future, and I felt confident in my choice to stay. 3 months ago, Sarah shattered my world again, admitting to a long-term affair and revealing our son might not be mine. The confession hit like a tidal wave. In shock, I demanded to know why she hid such a devastating secret. Her cold, detached response left me with more questions. Pressing for the truth, I learned the other man was Ethan. My heart sank as she explained they'd grown close when I introduced her to my family during a holiday visit. Ethan, usually hostile toward me, was charming to her, which I appreciated at the time. Sarah noticed our strained relationship and tried to include Ethan in our outings to mend things. They bonded over video games and conversations, and I was glad for any improvement. But Sarah later revealed Ethan confided in her about a breakup, and their friendship turned into flirting, then an affair. She claimed it spiraled beyond her control. The betrayal made me sick. Sarah said she felt guilty and left early that holiday, which aligned with her sudden departure. When we reunited at college, she seemed normal, and soon after, we learned she was pregnant. Sarah admitted she wasn't sure if the child was mine or Ethan's, but chose me, believing I was more reliable. This explained our rushed marriage. She also confessed they'd continued the affair, sneaking to hotels under the guise of work trips. When I asked why she married me if she wanted Ethan, she said she didn't want to end our marriage and saw me as a great father. She called it a mistake she couldn't stop. I told Sarah I appreciated her honesty but was leaving. She begged for forgiveness, claiming I should fight for our marriage and that our son shouldn't suffer from a broken home. I reminded her I might not be his father, which made her accuse me of cruelty. Perhaps my past forgiveness made her think I'd stay, but this betrayal, her with my brother, was unforgivable. I packed and left for a hotel. The next day, I told my parents everything. Mom initially defended Ethan, unable to believe he'd betray me. To prove it, I called Ethan in their presence, asking them to stay silent. When confronted, Ethan denied it until I said Sarah confessed. Then he blamed her, boasting he was more attractive. I told him I'd expose him, And when he mocked me, saying no one would believe me over the golden child, I revealed our parents were listening. Stunned, Ethan tried to backtrack, but Mom demanded answers. His weak excuses only deepened her disappointment. Dad took the phone, his voice heavy with betrayal. He told Ethan his actions violated family values, cutting him off from college funds and financial support. Watching Dad hold Ethan accountable felt like justice after years of torment. Mom, though heartbroken, hugged me, apologizing for not believing me sooner. That moment was surreal, a validation my younger self could never have imagined. Dad helped me find a divorce lawyer. Sarah fought for alimony, citing my higher income, but her affair worked against her. A paternity test confirmed Ethan was the father, a blow even worse than her infidelity. I was devastated, having raised the boy as my own. Sarah begged me to stay in his life, but I couldn't bear it. He reminded me of Ethan. I needed a clean break. After the divorce, moving into my own place felt liberating. I adapted quickly, enjoying my independence. 2 weeks ago, Dad said he was altering his will to leave Ethan nothing but $1, ensuring Mom could live in their home if he passed first. The estate, including assets and insurance, totaled nearly $2 million. Somehow Ethan learned of this and called me, begging for help. He was struggling with college fees and child support, as Sarah was demanding money. He claimed he needed a fresh start. I laughed and told him he should have considered the consequences before betraying me. He argued Sarah was equally at fault, and I agreed, noting I'd divorced her, making her his problem. Ethan cried, saying the family had shunned him, but I told him he was no longer my brother and to never contact me again. Hearing him cry stirred some pity, but his lack of remorse solidified my stance. Now I'm torn. Part of me wonders if I should urge our parents to reconsider, but I feel justified in cutting him off. Am I wrong for refusing to help? Many have asked why I've cut contact with my son, Liam, and some called me heartless. I need to clarify. I'm not comfortable raising another man's child, especially since I was deceived into believing Liam was mine, only to learn he's Ethan's. This betrayal crushed me. Staying in Liam's life would keep Sarah in mine, and I need distance to heal. Call it selfish, but I can't see him again, at least not for a long time. As some guessed, Mom told Ethan about Dad's will, prompting his desperate call. When I confronted her, she broke down, saying Ethan had suffered enough. Dad warned her that if she believed Ethan's actions were forgivable, their marriage was over. He forbade her from contacting Ethan, threatening divorce if she did. Hopefully, she'll respect his stance. It's been 5 months. My bond with my parents has strengthened. Dad and I golf weekly, and he treats me like a friend. Mom misses Ethan, but has kept her distance. I heard from a cousin that Ethan dropped out of college, unable to afford it, and is working as a mechanic. He and Sarah are raising Liam together, which I suppose is good. I avoid discussing Ethan with my parents. I got a promotion, boosting my income, and I'm in therapy to heal. I'm not dating yet, needing time to recover.